I recently discovered a shocking truth about my family. For years, I believed my mother had abandoned me and my father, as he always claimed. He painted her as bitter and hateful, leading me to resent her deeply. Growing up, I watched my father work tirelessly while my grandmother raised me. When I asked about my mother, my grandmother described her in a negative light, reinforcing my animosity toward her. Recently, while browsing social media at my boyfriend's place, I stumbled upon my mother's profile. I was furious to see her living a seemingly lavish life as a chef in a Michelin-starred restaurant, married to a handsome man. Enraged, I sent her a message expressing my anger and predicting karma would catch up to her. Surprisingly, instead of retaliating, she invited me to meet her. Feeling starstruck and curious, I accepted her invitation to a fancy restaurant. Initially, I couldn't contain my anger and berated her for abandoning me. She patiently listened as I vented, then calmly offered to share her side of the story. Reluctantly, I agreed to hear her out. She explained how she and my father met in university and how their relationship soured over time. When she became pregnant, she contemplated not having me due to her struggles with depression and feeling unprepared for motherhood. Despite her reservations, my father convinced her to have me, promising to take on the responsibility. However, after my birth, their relationship deteriorated further. My father refused to vacate the home, and their conflicts escalated. My mother endured emotional turmoil, eventually attempting self-harm due to the toxic environment. She showed me evidence of her struggles, including court documents and restraining orders against my father. Devastated by her revelations, I confronted my father, who denied receiving child support from my mother, but I discovered records proving otherwise, exposing his lies and manipulation. Feeling disgusted and unsafe, I confided in my mother and decided to move in with my boyfriend's family temporarily. With my mother's support, I pursued legal action against my father for his deceit and abuse. Despite his attempts to evade justice, he faced consequences for his actions. Tragically, he chose to end his own life rather than face the repercussions. Despite the pain and turmoil, I finally feel liberated from the lies and toxicity that plagued my upbringing. With the support of my mother and loved ones, I am embarking on a new chapter of my life, free from fear and resentment. After my father's tragic demise, the legal proceedings continued, but without him present, my mother and I relied on our supportive lawyers to navigate the complexities of the case. In the end, justice prevailed, and we were able to reclaim what was rightfully mine, both financially and legally. With the weight of my past finally lifted, I embraced the opportunity for a fresh start. My mother and I grew closer as we healed from the scars of our past. She became my rock, guiding me through the challenges of rebuilding my life. I enrolled in university, pursuing my passion for political science with newfound determination. With the financial support from my mother, I was able to pursue my education without the burden of financial strain. As I settled into my new life, I found solace in the unconditional love and support of my boyfriend and his family. They stood by me through the darkest moments, offering unwavering support and encouragement. Despite the hardships I endured, I emerged stronger and more resilient than ever before. I embraced my newfound freedom with gratitude, cherishing every moment of peace and happiness. And as I looked towards the future with optimism, I knew that I was finally free to live life on my own terms, unburdened by the shadows of my past.